Breaking news, Woj, what can you tell us what's going on there?
New York has fired their president, Steve Mills. Scott Perry will continue for the foreseeable future as GM, but owner Jim Dolan in New York, he wants to pursue Toronto's Masai Ujiri to ultimately oversee New York's basketball operations. Ujiri is under New York, certainly, you know, the marketplace, Dolan's ability to spend money, and what is his level of desperation to finally get New York's organization running in a credible way. Certainly there is a chance here for the Knicks to go out and maybe for the first time in the last decade, try to pursue an elite executive in the league, but Masai Ujiri is Jim Dolan's target. Whether Ujiri is going to have interest, whether he would walk away from what he has in Toronto, and he's still under contract, you know, those are all questions that'll be addressed here over the next weeks and months.
Knicks 15-36 on the season. They've struggled all year. We've seen this over the past couple of years with the Knicks. 6 coaches under Mills' tenure in New York. Woj, what's it going to take perhaps for just a little bit of stability for one of the league's marquee franchises that just can't seem to get it right?
Well, I think so much of it starts with Dolan and how he has run that organization, and you know, hiring somebody at the very top who has the track record of winning at the highest level. That's not something Dolan has done in his role as owner. There's not an organization in the league that wouldn't love to have Masai Ujiri running it. He's at the top of his profession right now. Yeah. Would they be able to convince him to come to New York and take this franchise over? Scott Perry will continue now. I'm told he's going to meet with Jim Dolan today, talk about how this move's going forward. But I had league executives telling me yesterday, Steve Mills was on the phone proposing trades as late as yesterday, but today Jim Dolan fired him after 2 different stints as the Knicks top executive. So now if you advance the story, it'll be interesting to see if the Knicks are active come trade deadline with this news coming out. 2 days to get ready for that. Ujiri, look, gets a title in Toronto. They're playing good basketball again. If he's aspirational, says he's the Knicks, perhaps you take a look at this job. You're going to be with us all day with this breaking news. Much more on the Knicks and the trade deadline still ahead on SportsCenter. David?
Yeah, Matt, also ahead on SportsCenter. Zion gearing up for his first showdown with Giannis tonight. We got a live shot from New Orleans ahead of this heavyweight showdown. Over the last couple decades, there haven't been many teams or maybe any teams that can do what Oregon did to UConn last night's worst home loss ever at Gamble for the Huskies. We'll show you how they did it. Plus, 3 quarterbacks expected to go high in April's draft, but one of them perhaps not as high as originally thought. Todd McShay joins us for whose stock might be dropping. And in our first take, last take, can Patrick Mahomes be the Michael Jordan of the NFL?
It's fun. It's fun competing. You leave it all on the floor. That's my job.
Yes, we're a hockey team. I did. I mean, he said it right away that it was just bleeding and whatever. So, you know, but he had to come.
Hamstring injury for PG. Clippers dynamic duos played just 20 games together this season out of a 50 total. However, team is an impressive 16-4 in those 20 games. Great duo. It works on the court and getting it done both ends of the floor. On offense, they are averaging over 50 points per game. They're on pace to be the first pair of Clippers teammates to reach the half-century mark since the team moved to LA. And on defense, 2 of the most active players on the perimeter. According to Second Spectrum, they're each averaging over 3 deflections per game, the only pair of teammates in the league to both reach that threshold.
Sixers, best home record in the NBA. On the road, not so much. In Miami, last night, the former Sixer Jimmy Butler, he was the hottest of the Heat last night. Working Ben Simmons here, the blow-by, and there's no help whatsoever. That was a theme all night. Butler had 23 in the first half, tied for the second most in a half this season. Shooting only 9% from 3 over the last 15 games, a single digit. He doesn't care. Jimmy cracked corner, and he don't care. He's got 3 threes in the last 6 weeks. 30 for the game, and then knocking that one down. 14 of 20 on the night, 38 points through 3 quarters. That is a new season high for Butler. How does it feel, Jimmy?
I felt great. I felt like Luka out there. You know, that's what he be doing, and it's really impressive. But more than anything, I'm super happy that we got the dub.
You're jumping ahead now, Jimmy. I haven't finished the highlight.
It's rude of him.
He took the fourth quarter off. Sixers defense was indefensible. Bam Adebayo saunters to the foul. 81 points in the second half. Record heat in Miami. And then Simmons, a little elbow to the back of Duncan Robinson. That's a flagrant foul. The Heat blow out the Sixers by 31. And if you're Brett Brown, not much to like.
I thought that our defense was poor. You know, when you create 3 turnovers for a game, it's just not a reflection of who we are.
The physicality side of things, we got to step that up. That comes with experience, also just comes with personality. I mean, you guys just got to step up and be more physical.
You mentioned the physicality. I mean, you guys are a very tall, big team. Why, can you pinpoint why you haven't been able to?
We were soft.
All right, the home and away splits for the Sixers are absolutely out of whack. 22-2 at home, best in the NBA. On the road, the Sixers just 9-18. That's 22nd in win percentage. Their road win percentage on pace to be the worst by a team with a win percentage of 900 or better at home since the league went to the 82-game schedule.
All right, I love this. Little Andre Iguodala drama has been the subject of trade rumors since he was shipped from Golden State to the Memphis Grizzlies, for whom he hasn't played a minute this season. His refusal to play has become a galvanizing topic for the team. Here is Memphis guard Dylan Brooks on Iguodala choosing not to lace him up for the Grizzlies.
Andre Iguodala's a great player. I feel like he's doing the right thing for his career, but we don't really care.
It's certainly not a distraction.
No, it's not a distraction at all. I laugh at that type of stuff. A guy that's on our team doesn't want to be on our team. I can't wait till we find a way to trade him so we can play him, and I can just show him what really Memphis is about.
All right, so Steph Curry had a response via the Twitter. 16 years in the league, got a Larry O'Brien trophy to prove it, winning the NBA title with Golden State. Tweeted this last night. He's like, quiet. My guy's got rings. My guy's he's 16 years in. This is how it all goes down if you're Andre Iguodala. Steph Curry refusing to play. Of course, he'll be subject of some of the trade news coming up. 2 days away from the NBA trade deadline. Adrian Wojnarowski joining us this morning. We do have some breaking news. We'll get to that in a minute with the Knicks because it is a huge story. But with regards to the trade deadline, names tend to bubble up this time of year. 2 days out, what names are bubbling up right now?
Well, Andre Iguodala in Memphis, certainly they want to move him by Thursday's deadline, get something back in return. Robert Covington in Minnesota is a player Houston's focused on. Clint Capella. They've had some talks with Atlanta that I think have some traction. And Minnesota continues to try to pursue D'Angelo Russell. They need a point guard with the Timberwolves.
So it'll be interesting to see if we get one of those multi-team deals with some of these big-name players. I said we have breaking news with the Knicks. We're going to get to that in a minute. Sit tight for how this can affect the roster. Let's go to David and Bobby Marks.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Yeah, we got Bobby Marks here. We've had the trade machine parked in the garage for several months. It's time to fire this thing up again. You heard Woj throwing out some names. Give us a potential trade and how it might work with the numbers here, Bobby.
Well, we would attempt to do a 4-team trade, but I don't know what this machine's going to do. We might get
smoke.
We might get some smoke out of here, but let's just focus on Golden State and Minnesota when we're talking about how do we get D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves. And the important thing is he earns $27.3 million. You have to come with 125% of that number. The Warriors are also are $2.5 million below the hard cap. So it's not like they can take on money like Gorgie Jang and players like Alan Crabb. So I think that the names that we're going to have to focus on right now is Andrew Wiggins, right? He's owed $27.5 million. He's under contract for 4 more years. Has certainly been inconsistent, but is averaging 23 points a game. And when we put on Russell, it's an even swap.
Yeah.
27-3, 27-5, but here's where Minnesota's going to have to up the ante a little bit here. We're talking draft picks, right? You're not going to get D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins straight up, so we're talking about their 2020 first-round pick, and if I am Golden State, that pick has to be unprotected. Remember, D'Angelo Russell has not turned 24 yet.
Yep.
Still 23, top 25 in the league in assists and points, and is under contract. He would be their quarterback of the future. So when we look at that, and we can even put in a future pick, maybe they get a pick from another team, right? Robert Covington is the name, as Woj just said, is is the name to watch. Maybe he goes to a third or fourth team. And when we look at it, that trade works. And it's basically an even money swap, a little bit of an increase in luxury tax, but that's the type of deal that you're looking at if you're the Timberwolves, but it's going to cost you some future draft assets.
Yeah, when they got Russell in the first, everyone sort of theorized, okay, they're going to trade him at some point, and he's played so well this year, averaging 24 a game. And maybe, Golden State dead last in the NBA. This could be the start of their rebirth, of course, getting Clay and Steph back next year. Bobby here with the trade machine. We got more news, as Matt mentioned. Let's get it back to those guys.
David and Bobby, thank you. Perhaps a roster overhaul for some of the franchises, but it looks as if we're dealing with a franchise